All right, good morning, traders. It's September 2nd. Wow, the year's going by fast. September 2nd, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for following my content. Thank you for leaving kind comments. Thank you for sharing my content. Special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy Sarah Roasted. Thank you for sharing the content. Appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for the likes and the thumbs up and all the following and the subscribing to my trading journey. Thank you so much. All right, so let's drill down. Got a little announcement. This Thursday for members only. All right, if you want to be a member and you're not a member, it's only $7. All right, I'll leave a link in the description. This Thursday, we're going to have a topic: stop losing money, critical mistakes, and how to avoid them. That happens this Thursday, September 4th. Okay, be in the combo room. For those of you that are here in the room, I can show you how to get there right after the video. All right, let's take a look at what happened on Friday. Got a mixed bag on Friday, okay? My SPY pivot this morning, 645.30. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near it today. IWM, there's the mixed bag. IWM makes a new rally high. Gold makes a new all-time high. Silver makes a new 12-year high. T2123 makes a new all-time high. QQQ and FNGU made lower highs, lower lows, closing under bullish traps and under their 17 EMAs. Diamond Dow made a lower high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. SPY made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. SPY also closed with a 2-hour downtrend and 10-minute consolidation. Okay, so that was a kind of a clue that we're bearish. All right, coming into the weekend. Probably going to be a move down today. Looking that way already in the pre-market. Again, silver made a new 12-year high. Gold made a new all-time high. USO still in a daily downtrend. No surprise. Made an inside day. That's a lower high and a higher low. Closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. UNG made a higher high and a higher low. Closing over a bullish trap over the 17. US dollar index still in a downtrend. We love that. As investors, as consumers, kind of sucks. 97.71 closed on Sunday night. Max Pain for today, 646, with a put to call ratio of about 1.25 puts for each call that expires today. Now, all of these bears, they're all underneath the 17 EMA. Okay, so they're all in downtrends underneath the 17. All these bulls, these are all in uptrends over the 17 EMA. If they have a star next to it, it means they're building out a launch pad to possibly go higher. Possibly, all right? No guarantees, but that's what it looks like they're doing. On the bears, if they're building a little star here, that means they're building a platform from which to go to move lower, all right? So if you see a star, it means they're probably consolidating out to the right. Same here, see a star consolidating out to the right. For the bears, probably to make another move lower, and for the bulls to make a move higher. All right, let's go take a look at some charts today. Let's start off with SPY. All right, so SPY putting in red day after making a new all-time high. No surprise there, lower high, lower low. Closing inside the bullish trap over the rising 17. We're still bullish. All right, we may get a harsh pullback here today, but we are still bullish. We're up at the top of quadrant 4. All right, we're still in an uptrend. Everything is still working for SPY. Okay, gonna get another pullback again today. I can see us already down here at 639.40. All right, so there's SPY on the daily chart. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, we have a 2-hour downtrend. Okay, the 3 EMA is underneath the 8 EMA. We got price candles underneath the 3 EMA. So got a 2-hour downtrend coming into this morning. All right, on the 10-minute chart, we've got a consolidation. Price moves down and over to the right, and you can see we're opening up much lower this morning, about $6 lower almost. Okay, so 10-minute consolidation. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ's got the same thing. A move down and over to the right. Again, probably opening up much lower this morning. Again, a measured move to the downside, same as SPY. All right, let's take a look at the daily candle for QQQ. Okay, lower high, lower low, closing under the bullish trap and under the 17 EMA. Okay, that's still bullish up there. We haven't made a lower low. All right, we are closing underneath 17. Not a good look. All right, they could recover. They could recover this tomorrow or the next day, maybe even today. We'll see what happens. I don't think so, but it probably may. It may, but I doubt it. QQQ still in an uptrend, still bullish up there. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, FNGU still consolidating up here at quadrant 4. It's still bullish up there. Still in a downtrend that's not moving down. All right, so still bullish, still in a downtrend that's not moving down. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM inks out a new a new rally high. So here's the high from April, and there's a new rally high for IWM. Again, up there in quadrant 4, that's bullish and still in an uptrend. Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow puts in lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17 EMA, and up there at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish and still in an uptrend. All right, so there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at our technicals, T2122. Well, we lost some breath yesterday, Friday. Okay, market kind of did not put as much gusto into it as it normally did. I don't know if it was that 3-day weekend where we had some of the veterans took the days off, left it up to the amateurs to run the shop, or the new guys, the interns. We'll see, but the breath is kind of dropped. It actually dropped almost below the whole week. Okay, you got 4 days of breath here. Well, we dropped below all 4 days on Friday. Okay, so losing some breath in the market, that's not good. Kind of maybe the rally's getting tired. We'll see what happens. All right, but we did lose some breath. Quite a bit of breath, 4 days of breath yesterday. Friday. So that's not a good look. We see this kind of lose some breath. We could see a hook where a downtrend now takes over, and you see the breath begin to increase for the downtrend. We'll see what happens. T2122. We spent the day, okay, between the buy zone and the overbought zone. Not severely overbought, but we spent some time in the buy zone and the overbought zone. That's still bullish up there, okay? Even though you can see SPY at 639, we're still bullish. Amazing, but we're still bullish, though. It's not looking good if we keep closing below the 17 EMA, okay? T2123, 3-bar chart. Again, new all-time high for the 3-bar, the 15-minute and the 3-bar chart. New all-time high for T2123. Okay, you can see price gaps up. That's a bullish gap. Notice the bears couldn't fill the gap before noon. That is a bullish outlook. And you can see price action gaps up and holds the higher ground. That's a bullish look right there. That's a bullish environment. Unfortunately, it was FNGU that seemed to control the day because we had a pullback, but yet T2123 moved up and held the higher ground. Okay, so that was a nice look there for the rest of the unweighted stocks, all right, or securities. But FNGU, because it's so heavily weighted, it dragged the market lower, or excuse me, dragged the index lower, whereas T2123 just didn't have enough to carry the whole load. So there's T2123. That's bullish, and that's still in an uptrend. Buying from the beginning of the day all the way into the end of the day. 3-bar chart. Okay, new all-time high again, just like the 15, up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish and still in an uptrend. Now here's the problem child. Okay, this is what happened on Friday. Okay, see, gap down. Notice the bulls did not fill the gap before noon. They didn't even fill the gap, period. We came down and we flatlined. All right, we came down and we just consolidated right on top of 200 SMA. So that was a bearish outlook, and you can see when you do that, you move down, consolidate over to the right. Usually the next move down is the next move is going to be a move down. No bounce. See that? No bounce on this 200 SMA. Not a good look. Okay, but we're still holding this area up here over $23. Okay, so it's still bullish, although these candle for today, or the morning's candle for today and yesterday's candle, not a good look. Got that bearish engulfing look, all right? On FNGU, there's the 15-minute, okay? Selling from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and even in the pre-market here. So there's FNGU. Let's go back and look at the SPY game plan. We'll head back over to here. Okay, let's take a look at the game plan right here. Let's see what we got. SPY. All right, so SPY game plan for this morning. Okay, let's take a look here. See if I can pull things into focus. They get all messed up as I move them around throughout the day. All right, so pivot 645.30. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. 10-minute. All right, so 10-minute downtrend underneath 645.30. That's our pivot. First entry for a red erases green entry is underneath 643.35. Well, we've already way past that, far past that. So looking like price is coming into this area right here. Okay, I would expect a bounce in through here. See that peak between the two valleys? Kind of expect a bounce right in there. Maybe back to minor resistance right here, and then maybe roll over and check this breakup candle low. We'll see what happens. But the low of this is the head. We have a head and shoulders, an inverse head and shoulders, where this is the head, and this is our left shoulder. This was our right shoulder. Well, if they decapitate the head, they negate the head and shoulders. The bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern. This would be the head. This would be the left shoulder right here. This would be the right shoulder right there. So we'll see what happens here. Okay. This is SPY on the 10-minute. Okay, so it's currently breaking down. Probably going to get a bounce. Yeah, right about there. Right about now. Should see a bounce and probably head back to minor resistance right up there, maybe back up to VWAP. All right, so here's price action for SPY. You got a green erases red entry, okay, up over 647.50. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. All right, right now we've got currently in the pre-market, we've got a 10-minute downtrend under VWAP right now. Okay, looking a little extended here, probably ready for a bounce back to VWAP area right now. All right, but that's what I like. 10-minute downtrends under VWAP, 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 3 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5 that are $3 to $15 out of the money. I like 10 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5 that are $3 to $15 out of the money, okay? If I get a 10-minute uptrend that happens to manifest down here, okay, long before the green erases red entry, all right, and it breaks the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle, I would be interested in trading that back up to the upside. Maybe up to the red line, maybe up to the pivot, maybe up to the green line. We'll see what happens. But if one of those does manifest, it doesn't mean that I cannot trade it, all right? It is in my plan to trade it if I feel like trading it, if it's not like right underneath resistance, all right? I would like to trade that on a bounce back up to resistance. Okay, so there's SPY on the 10-minute. So I don't have to wait for this green erases red entry all the way back up here at 647, which is about almost $10 away, considering we were just at 638 right here. All right, so and same thing goes for up here. If I get a 10-minute downtrend that happens to manifest up here long before the red erases green entry, it's not going to happen today because we're already down here, but I'm just saying if one were to manifest up here or up here, okay, or even here, long before the red erases green entry, I would be interested in trading that to the downside, provided I'm not trading right into support, okay? That's what I would be looking for, to trade to the downside. It's a 10-minute downtrend. I don't have to wait for the red erases green entry, all right, if one happens to manifest up here or up here, okay? But I would like to see it break the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle in order to trade that all the way back to the pivot or down to the red line or back to yesterday's close, which would be gap fill, something like that, okay? So I'm not against trading that. But let me just say this, okay? We're still bullish, all right? Not a big fan of going counter trend, okay? Counter trend because we're still bullish, all right? Means downtrends might be off my list for a while or until I see something break like support. If I saw support break, it'd be interesting to trade that to the downside for me. All right, so there's SPY. Same thing with QQQ. All right, QQQ's got the same thing going on. All right, we like 3 days till expiration and 10 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5 with strikes $2 to $10 out of the money or $2 to $15 out of the money. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP that are breaking away from VWAP. In other words, they're moving up and away from VWAP. There's separation between the price candles, the trap, and the VWAP line. Okay, that's a moving average. I like the 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Again, I would be looking for a break of the bearish rubber band candle for a 10-minute downtrend to see that if that does happen to manifest. Again, I like 10-minute downtrends. I like them when they're moving down, and away from VWAP, all right? I want to see the trap and the candles move and separate themselves from the VWAP, not hug up close to it, all right? Remember, downtrends are counter trend, all right? My favorite setup is the 10-minute uptrend inside the 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend. Right now, we don't have a 10-minute uptrend, and we don't even have a 2-hour uptrend, okay? Currently, that's just what we got, all right? Don't have either one of those, all right? So we'll see what happens today where the market opens. Probably going to mark off the market high, all right, in the pre-market and the market low in the pre-market, and I will, in addition to that, I will look for the breakout and probably trade the breakout. All right. In addition to that, I will probably mark off the first 15 minutes on both SPY and QQQ and trade the breakout of the first 15 minutes. Whichever side breaks out would be the side that I would trade to. All right, so that'd be QQQ and SPY. That's my plan this morning. Kind of a really wide swath. Not thinking we're going to get gap fill at all today. All right, so kind of a quite a distance away. $7 away for QQQ, and for SPY, I think we're about $6 away on SPY. All right, so not thinking probably going to make their way down to this anchored VWAP right there, and that anchored VWAP is anchored back on. Let me let you know which one that is, and it's not going to show up for me. Okay, it's not this one. This one is anchored on the all-time low, or the April low right here. So this is the 1st of April, but it's not that one. Even though it is blue, it's not the same one. It's not the one we're looking for. All right, let's take a look at the economic data package. All right, and we got the dollar right here. Okay, dollar's still in a downtrend. Again, moving down. It's in a bear flag. We're actually in a bear flag, a mini bear flag, inside of a bigger bear flag. We got ourselves into a downtrend. We made a low, and we happen to make lower lows. So we got ourselves into a downtrend. And you can see price action is putting up a bear flag. If I can find my drawing tools, which are right here. All right. So we can see price action moving has come down. Drawing tool's not going to work for me today. All right, moving down and over to the right. So that's our bear flag. And then we've got a little mini bear flag move down and over to the right inside of our bigger bear flag right there. So dollar's still in a downtrend. Max pain for today, 646. Put to call ratio, that's for SPY. Okay, those are for the options that expire at 4:15 today. Okay, put to call ratio of about 1.25. So that's 1.25 puts for each call that expires today. Okay, on the earnings calendar we have, make sure I got the right day, Tuesday. All right, for Tuesday we've got some familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. Wednesday, we got Salesforce going to report in the evening. All right, that's about $243 billion. They're going to report tomorrow night. Thursday, Broadcom's going to report. That's almost $1.5 trillion. That's a market mover. That will probably be the headliner for this week. All right, is Broadcom. Okay, after the market close on Thursday, almost $1.5 trillion. Copart, which is 47. Again, some more familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. And we've got ABM Industries. That's $3 trillion. Okay, so that's thousands. That's millions. $3 billion. Okay, not quite. So again, some more familiar names on Friday, but nothing that's going to be market moving. For the economic data, Tuesday. Remember, Monday we were closed. Tuesday we got PMI manufacturing final 9:45 today. ISM manufacturing index 10 o'clock. Construction spending at 10. And let me scroll down. That's it for today. Tomorrow, motor vehicle sales probably comes out at 6. MBA mortgage applications at 7. Factory orders at 10. Jolts at 10. Beige book at 2. And there should be a petroleum report there somewhere. Unless they moved it. Because the gas report normally comes out tomorrow. I don't see it in there. All right. Thursday, we've got ADP employment report in the morning, 8:15. All right. International trades in goods and services, 8:30. Jobless claims, 8:30. productivity and cost, 8:30. PMI composite final, 9:45. ISM services index, 10 o'clock. Gas report at 10, and a petroleum report at noon. On Friday, we get the employment situation. That's a market mover right there. All right, so that'll probably be the headliner. Is the employment situation on Friday the 6th. All right, and then we got a rig count at 1 as normal. All right, that's it for me for this morning, traders. All right, I'll see you guys all in about 45 minutes, and we'll open up the markets. I can see we're getting a big gap down this morning. Probably going to be some profit taking for everyone with puts. So expect the market to probably pull up at the beginning and see. We'll have to see where it wants to roll over, or if it wants to stick it down there below $40.50, $640.50. All right, that's profit and that's us resistance and support right there. Okay, if we're underneath it, it should act as resistance. If we're above it, support. So we'll see what happens with that. 640.40. All right, 640.40, 640.50.